Okay, starting about a minute early just to get a sound check because, as you know, we're broadcasting from the road. So you got to always make sure that the sound is reasonably clear. Got to answer a question posed by Malpal. And anybody in the chat room, give me an idea if the sound is good. Eddie Heckman, how are we doing? Malpal? We'll address your question in a minute. Started a little early just to get the sound check. So I need somebody in the chat room to tell me if you can hear me. But if you can't hear me, then you couldn't hear my plea for a sound check. How about that? DK Lucius here. All right, come on, Eddie Heckman. You're always good for a good sound check. Sound is very clear. There you go. And welcome aboard, everybody, on a lovely... I don't know what day, what year, what month.
Sound is good, Leonard.
Sound is good. So thanks, everybody. Good morning to Chris from Cambridge, the DK Lush, the Eddie Heckman, the Laura, the Rotisserie Sports Hour. I don't know. Rotorius is here. Malpal is here. SM King Turd. You got Timothy My Hooker, Tommy Johnston, and White Sox Gal, and a cast of thousands. Good morning. So let's get to Malpal's question. Malpal posed a question about a $10 player. And the question is, and by the way, Rotorius, I agree that, there's a lot to say, but Major League Baseball has to address the injured list before opening day. I'll tell you why. But Malpal says in an auction, if there's a player you really want that is viewed as a $10 player, is it wise to throw him out early for bidding, or does it matter? It does matter, and you don't throw him out unless you do something first. You see, a $10 player is a $10 player. He's nothing special. Now, if you want to throw out a Bryce Harper or a $30 player just to see how the room is, you throw out that $30 player that you don't want. That's a $30 player. Not a big investment. And if that's the case, if the $30 player goes for 28 or 29, then you take your comp, your $30 player that you want, and you'll be assured at least that he will not go for more. Now, with a $10 player, probably the same thing. I would say throw out a complimentary player at about $10. Feel the room. See what that $10 player goes for. If he goes for 12, hold up. If he goes for 9 or 8, then go with it. Especially if the player you're throwing out at 12 or 10 is better than your player, in the opinion of the judges. So that's what I would say. It's all about playing the room. Just to throw him out for $10 doesn't really mean much. That's not going to stop anybody from bidding 10 or bidding 11, but you'll get a feel for the room if you take another player, possibly a $12 player or a $15 player, throw him out and see what that player goes for, see what the room does. If that $15 player goes for 13, then I'll throw out that $10 player. But you know that's how you read the room. You got to read the room. Never go in to any auction draft with a predetermined set plan of how you're going to do it. But you do have a plan of how you can figure out if the room is hot or if the room is cold. Everybody okay with that? Terrific. Great to hear. And of course, here's the thing about Major League Baseball. When Greg Ambrosius and the guys went into court, Carlin, to battle Major League Baseball for the stats. When fantasy baseball started, the problem that we had was Major League Baseball would not give the fantasy owners stats. Wouldn't give us stats to make money with. They felt we were making money with Major League Baseball's property, their stats. In court, we won that, and now Major League Baseball has to come to grips with the fact that the fantasy industry has gotten so popular that they should start catering a little bit to the fantasy industry. by putting players on the injured list after the season, it makes it very difficult. Put it out there early. Cater to the people that are really helping your product. Okay? Thank you, everybody. But that's my belief on that. Okay? Mitchell and Merrill, nice to see everybody in the chat room. Good morning to you all. Did I miss anybody? White Sox Al, we said hello to, and everybody's good. Andrea now in the chat room. Okay. Let's go to this could be the last day of the box scores for the spring. I'll take a look at the box scores but it's only really about batting order. Nobody cares who got 2 hits, who got 1 hit. It's about the batting orders, okay? And did you see that JT Realmuto ejection? He was catching behind the plate, of course. The umpire had the ball. Realmuto had his glove up to say, come on up, just put the ball in the glove, and I'll throw it back to the pitcher. And he was thinking the ump was... And then he thought the ump was not going to drop the new ball into the glove. He thought the ump was going to throw it back to the pitcher. So Realmuto put the glove down just as the umpire dropped the ball, and then Realmuto got thrown out of the game. You want to ruin baseball? You take a look at that. You can see it anywhere. There's plenty of highlights. Just punch it up on the computer. And I'll tell you something. And Realmuto was thrown out of the game. If they take that kind of an attitude, and it was all about the pitch clock, if they take that kind of attitude, this game is over. Okay? It's over. 8 players who have won the Cy Young Awards are scheduled to start opening day. And that would be the second most former Cy Young Award winners to start their team's first game of the season in a year 2016. So you got 8 Cy Young Award winners on opening day. Led by, you got Patrick Corbin against Max Fried. You got Garrett Cole against Logan Webb. That ought to be a hummer and a dinger. Corey Kluber against Kyle Gibson. That doesn't seem like an opening day starting pitching tandem. You got Corbin Burns against Marcus Stroman. Shane McClanahan goes against Eduardo Rodriguez in Detroit. Jake DeGrom goes against Aaron Nola. Nola failed to come to an agreement with Philadelphia for an extension, so he's a possible free agent for next year. Sandy Alcantara against Max Scherzer. This is a highlight right here. Alcantara, the superstar emerging. Max Scherzer, the superstar hanging in there. Hunter Green. On opening day, Cincinnati will start Hunter Green against Mitch Keller. Blake Snell goes against Herman Marquez. Miles Mikolas on opening day against Alex Manoah. Zach Greinke gets an opening day start for Kansas City against Pablo Lopez in Minnesota. Framber Valdez against Dylan Cease. Kyle Muller, the opening day starter for Oakland. Anybody have him on their fantasy team? Kyle Muller against Shohei Ohtani. You got Julio Urias against Zach Gallen. You got Luis Castillo against Shane Bieber in a great matchup. I like Castillo a lot, and those are the starting pitchers for today. Those are the starting pitchers. And before we get into all the stuff, I mean, there's got to, yep, that's right, Patrick Corbin opening day. Good grief, okay? Yep, Patrick Corbin, what could go wrong? So there you go. And, of course, there are a couple of things that this season we're going to really look forward to. All right, there are a couple of major questions that, it may not be fantasy-wise, but King Hap has joined us. Good morning to the King. Nice to see everybody. There's a couple of things for fantasy baseball that really have to be addressed, okay? Number one, and I want the chat room to put their knowledge to work. Let me know what you think. Number one, will Shohei Ohtani have a better year than he had last year? Okay? Will Shohei Ohtani have a better year than he had last year? That's the number one question. I can't see the chat room at the same time that I'm looking at the outline, so please help me out here. Put the answer. Just write yes or no. Ohtani better than last year. Can Aaron Judge duplicate his American League 62 home run season? Can he duplicate it or beat it? That's another great question. There's never been a hitter not linked to performance-enhancing drugs with back-to-back 60 home run seasons. The last clean player to hit 50 or more homers in consecutive seasons was Hall of Famer Ken Griffey Jr. And thanks to Steve Gardner for, I believe Steve contributed to some of these questions that I was looking at this morning. If Judge stays healthy, there's no reason he can't hit 50. But expect him to get intentionally walked. You know, Aaron Judge last year was only walked intentionally 19 times, okay? Yeah, that's it, 19. Who will be the biggest surprise team to win their division? I don't think Toronto's a surprise team, but who's the biggest surprise team? Will it be the Baltimore Orioles as the big surprise team? Will it be the Chicago White Sox? Will it be the Angels from Anaheim or whatever they are? What team will be the biggest disappointment? I say that the Yankees are going to be a huge disappointment. They got a lot of players. They got a lot of stuff. They've spoiled everyone by coasting to the playoffs for 6 straight years. They've advanced to the ALCS for 3 years. But has anybody paid attention to all the injuries? I still think the Yankees, who want to rebuild, will begin to rebuild this year. Okay? I think the Yankees, could they miss it? What team has the most pressure? I'll say, based on the amount of money that was spent in the offseason, the San Diego Padres, a small market team spending money like the Dodgers and the Mets, I got to tell you, there's a lot of pressure on San Diego. What team is the most overlooked? I'll tell you, I don't know. What team is the most overlooked? Some might say the Giants. I say the Phillies. Look, Phillies, Trey Turner, all those, okay? The Dodgers, 111 wins, and people aren't taking them seriously because they didn't spend money. Who will win the division in the wild card berths? Well, same thing. You got Toronto, Cleveland, Houston. You got so many teams. I think Atlanta jumps off the page. St. Louis has a lot of players, but do they have a chemistry? Do they have a formula for all those interesting players? I think the Phillies are going to be spectacular. Who wins the postseason awards? You got Mike Trout, you got Trey Turner, you got Emmanuel Clase. Cy Young, according to the USA Today and Steve Gardner, Zach Gallen could win it. Rookie of the Year, you got the Gunnar Henderson, you got the Corbin Carroll, and a couple of other youngsters. But how about that? Zach Gallen from the Diamondbacks, predicted by USA Today to win the Cy Young Award in the National League and the World Series, all that stuff. So thank you, Steve Gardner, for putting on a great Steve Gardner, just a great job writing in the USA Today. I saw this piece and I just could not resist it, but it's a great way to start a Tuesday morning, okay? Just a great way. Now, here's a couple of very, very interesting situations going on, okay? And we'll take it a little at a time, okay? Situations. Number one, there's a team that has expressed an interest in Chris Sale. If that's right. And I say capital if the Red Sox don't get off to a strong start, it seems to me that Chris Sale could be gone. And where is he going? Interesting. The San Diego Padres have made overtures to Chris Sale. That we know. San Diego has a World Series or bust expectations after another massive offseason. As a result, they're reportedly looking to make another notable move. They're expressing interest in Chris Sale. Now, teams can't trade named players until the season is started, at least for a month. You trade your players now, and you don't get any, and you kill your fan base. And you don't get any ticket sales. They can't trade Chris Sale now, but as soon as they indicate they're not going to be contenders, the Red Sox were listening to offers for Sale during the offseason. Nothing came of that for the reason I just gave you. You just can't trade your players before the season starts, the big players. And there's a very good chance that if they get off to a bad start, they will shop Sale. And even they'll shop him as we inch closer to the deadline. And San Diego's interest in Sale is no secret. No secret. He'd provide the Padres with another star pitcher. However, injury trouble kept Sale off the mound, and that we all know. So let's see what happens there. And speaking of injury trouble, Joey Votto. That's right. Mr. Dependable, Joey Votto will be starting the year on the injured list. And you're right, whoever wrote that in the chat room, the injured list needs to be put out there well before his 14-year opening day streak has come to an end. Joey Votto, great career. Here's the question. Is Joey Votto a Hall of Fame player? Is Joey Votto, come on everybody, needs your help. Is Joey Votto a Hall of Fame player? Come on, King Hap, lead the way. What do you think? Joey Votto, Hall of Famer? Let's see. All right. Kenny Flammy is here. Says Tanner Houck will surprise. Big Al on the prowl. That's right. Chris Cambridge could see Chris Sale as a St. Louis Cardinal. And there you go. So is Joey Votto a Hall of Fame player? Wow. Travels are safe. Travels are good. We'll still... we're still in North Carolina, and we'll see where we go from here. We've had to make some changes along the way, so we'll see. But that's no different than anybody else, okay? The question is, Corey Kluber was brought in to fill out the rotation, and now he's an ace. Well, I don't know if he's an ace just because he's starting on opening day. What could go wrong with Patrick Corbin? I don't know. So Joey Votto, still not getting a lot of response in the chat room, but do you think he's a Hall of Famer? I put up a poll about who was the other player? I put up a poll about, is he a Hall of Famer? And the answer was, for the most part, yes. Okay. Who am I talking about? Andy, who was the player? I put up a poll to find out if he was a Hall of Famer just last week. Let's see. Anybody help me out with that? Altuve. That's right. I put up a poll about Altuve. Austin Riley, MVP by DK Lush. That's a good one. Okay. A lot of us like the White Sox, and we'll see. I put up a DK Lush poll, and most people thought Eddie Heckman says Votto will be in the Hall of Fame. Wasn't Adam Wainwright. And Malpal says no on Votto. Holy mackerel. Right? No on Joey Votto. That's pretty interesting. All right, I would have said yes. Joey Votto has been, and I take the Hall of Fame a little different than most. Joey Votto has been, for the most part, among the top 3 first basemen in Major League Baseball for a good 14 years. And there you go. All right, Malpal. Jesus Luzardo. Malpal's boy will start Game 2 for the Miami Marlins on Friday night at home against the New York Mets. Had to throw that in for the Malpal. Let him know that he will open the season as the number 2 starting pitcher in the Marlins rotation. But I will tell you, the number 3 starting pitcher, we'll talk about him in a minute, because I think he's going to be a good one. Now, how many of you were surprised that Grayson Rodriguez was sent down to the minors? He had basically the same stuff as Sandy Alcantara, better than Hunter Green, according to many, but according to Eno Saros, Grayson Rodriguez had basically the same stuff as Alcantara and better than Hunter Green. But Mike Elias, the coach, said he was not ready to jump into the Major League rotation. He was just getting just getting by the fourth inning. And we know he's capable of winning and capable of much more. So they were hoping he would show up as a better version of himself, and he didn't. So as a result, got a little trouble there with Grayson Rodriguez. Those of you counting on Rodriguez, relax, okay? He's not. You can't be shocked if a player doesn't make it in his opening season. And of course, with the Joey Votto, wow, Matt Olson hit his leading Major League Baseball leading 8th home run of the spring. He's ready and he's underrated. Most home runs by a Brave pitcher in a single spring training. Olson with 8, Freddie Freeman 7. But overall, Ryan Howard had 11 in 2006. Is Daniel Ferrara in the chat room? I have a White Sox question for Daniel Ferrara. All right, if Daniel Ferrara is not here, then shame on Daniel Ferrara. This is when we need you, Daniel. Okay, we need Daniel Ferrara because we got a White Sox question coming up. But anybody can participate. Okay, White Sox. Lenny and Andrews should stop in Baltimore since they had to cancel. Yeah, we had to cancel. We'll see. It's not just easy to stop in, okay? We're driving around the country, and to stop in, well, let me tell you, I don't even know if we're going to continue going. We'll try, Eddie. We'll try. And the Votto comp is Matt Holliday. That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a very good one. Votto comp is Matt Holliday, okay? We need more than one pickup event a week. Maybe a Wednesday pickup, according to Boston Paul, but that's up to your individual league. Okay, they were very high on Rodriguez. Still, nobody's lost the love for Rodriguez. Nobody. Have we lost the love for Scotty Banzit? Hell no, he's in the chat room. Zelmo is here. Good morning to Dr. Z. Maine Nick is back with us. Nice to see you back. Chat room is livelier than ever. Okay, now, moving right along. Moving right along. Let's see what we got as I trying to navigate everything. The White Sox, in 100 games since opening day 1923, they've played 100 games. How many games have they won? How many have they lost? Let's just go with the wins. How many wins have they had on opening day since 1923? Okay, see if anybody gets that one. As I said, Aaron Nola expected to hit the free agent market this winter. Contact extensions broke down. The Phillies hope to sign him during the exclusivity window before he files for free agency. Okay, so they love him in Philadelphia. Dave Dombrowski does not want to lose him, but Aaron Nola playing his cards and playing them right. What's going on? What's going on? We got the dogs. I mean, you see, go take a look at Facebook. I put up pictures of Andy with her two friends. Okay. Nola is one of the most underpaid pitchers in the game. Will you stop it? He's one of the most underpaid pitchers in the game. He's earning $16 million in the final year of his 5-year, $56 million extension. Shohei Ohtani, Julio Urias, and Aaron Nola are the top 3 pitchers on a very thin free agent market this winter. He could be joined by Max Scherzer if he opts out. How about that one? So the free agent market this winter, Ohtani, who will get basically anything he wants, Urias and Nola. Top 3 pitchers. Scouts have raved about Fernando Tatis and how he's adapted to right field. Several predict he could win a Gold Glove. Don't forget, Tatis will miss the Padres' first 20 games after testing positive last season for performance-enhancing drugs. He's eligible to return April 20th against the Arizona Diamondbacks, okay? So don't forget, you may be missing a couple of games with Tatis. Brooks is in the chat room. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, Brooks. And James Caprion. I'm trying to get to your team. James asked me to evaluate his team. very difficult under the circumstances we're in now. We're here in North Carolina. We're just enjoying the life, and there you go. Okay, sorry about that, James. Normally I would do it the same day, so and also it's pretty tough. The toughest thing to evaluate when you look at a team, and many people ask me to do it, is head-to-head. Evaluating head-to-head means you really have to look at all the teams. You've got to look at all the teams. You've got to analyze all the teams. When it comes to categories, I can tell you you're light in home runs, you're light in stolen bases, but head-to-head, it's very difficult, I will tell you. Very difficult. Okay. Who led the dogs out? Boom, boom. In 50 games on opening day, on 100 games on opening day since 1923, Chicago White Sox are 50-50. So they got a big one, okay? Ohtani, $250 million pitcher, $300 million hitter equals $5 million. There you go. That's right, 41 wins, you're off, Eddie. It's 50-50 in the last 100 opening days for the White Sox. How about that? Daniel Ferrara, you would have got it, right? But you got to be here to get it. Now I got the dogs licking my legs, and everything is good. I wasn't sure exactly who it was, but it's definitely one of the dogs. All right, a little bit of a disappointment there, but what can you do? All right. Boston Paul, Brooks, Chris Gallo, number 2 is here. Chris Gallo, Grandpa number 2. Nice going, Chris Gallo. Scotty Bandit, all you guys are here. Thank you. Okay, moving right along. Okay, one American League general manager predicts the Yankees will miss out on the playoffs, and I do too. I mean, Cortez, Montas, Rondon, Severino, only Cole and Cortez stayed healthy. Severino, the last one to go down. It's just crazy. I don't think the Yankees are going to really recover. Now, the Pittsburgh Pirates, who've been trying to trade Brian Reynolds since day one, but they're not enough to be optimistic about any talks with any team. Okay, he's seeking an 8-year, $134 million deal. The Pirates have offered $6 and $80, so let's see what happens there. It's not going to happen. Anthony Volpe, starting off with the Yankees. Mickey Mantle was 19. Ben Chapman was 21. Joe Pepitone was 21. Frank Crissetti was 21. And a big cult hero in St. Louis has turned out to be Lars Nootbaar. Okay? So he's just because he had 60,000 followers in his Instagram account before opening the WBC, and now he's exceeded 1 million. Okay? The Phillies, center fielder Brandon Marsh. The pitch clock will actually help him this year. And here's the reason. Brandon Marsh says the pitch clock and all the fiddling and fooping around and everything eliminates all the extra thoughts a hitter has. He speaks for himself. It benefits him. Sometimes players just overthink. He does think the pitch clock helps hitters that are just want to get up to the bat and swing. Spring training, the Cubs can only pray that $177 million free agent shortstop Dansby Swanson was just having a blip in the spring training, along with Cody Bellinger. Now, Bellinger we know, but Swanson entered the final weekend hitting 059, the lowest by any player with at least 30 at-bats. Bellinger hitting 175. Whoa. Swanson, how many think that Swanson's going to bounce out, and I'll just say to make it simple, and have a good year, all right? And have a good year. He's right now stinking up the joint. Maybe one of the worst hitters in baseball. But how many think that Dansby Swanson's going to bounce back? Come on, anybody? Maine, where's the Maine guy? Maine Nick. He left.
Question.
What?
What's the question?
What's the question?
Yeah, I want to answer.
There is no question. Whoa. Okay. What do you want to know?
Nothing.
She wants to know what the question is. I want to know what the answer is, but I don't know what the question is. San Francisco Giants, unable to land Aaron Judge, unable to land Carlos Correa. But Mitch Haniger, they signed him. They signed Taylor Rogers. They signed Sean Manaea. They start Michael Conforto. Let's give the Giants a little credit for having a great offseason, okay? Let's see. All right. Andy, I'm trying to charge my phone and it's not charging.
Okay,
How come it's not charging? Let's figure it out.
in?
I don't know.
You're charging.
It is charging?
Yes.
Where? It's not charging.
It is charging. Believe me on this one. You can't see good.
Okay, congrats. All right, now, all right, we mentioned Chris Sale as a possible trade candidate, and here's another guy. Shane Bieber. Shane Bieber has been getting a ton of buzz in the rumor mill, and now there are strong reports, you got that Shane Bieber has been courted by the Dodgers. The Dodgers of L.A. interested in Shane Bieber. Any surprise there? The Dodgers are interested in Shane Bieber. They have very high expectations for 2023, but they're trying to stay under the salary cap, so it's understandable they want to add another star to their current rotation. The Dodgers have the assets to bring in a high-impact pitcher like Bieber. Nevertheless, we'll now wait and see if the Dodgers' interest, and again, Cleveland cannot trade Bieber until they show their fans that it may not be their year, even with him, okay? So that and the Yankees, following Sunday's game in Tampa, the Yankees made a few roster moves. Of course, Anthony Volpe, front page, he'll be the starting shortstop at the expense of Oswald Peraza. Now, yesterday, I thought Peraza made the team. He's the Yankees' number 2 ranked prospect. He'll begin the year in AAA. He was called up last season and hit the cover off the ball. But Volpe outperformed him this spring and did enough to win the job. The Yankees also announced that Matt Crook will be going down to AAA. Who's Matt Crook? He had a great spring, but not fantasy relevant, so I don't know who Matt Crook is. Peraza getting sent down will light a fire under him. It could go two ways. It could light a fire or it could kill his confidence. It's very dangerous to send down a player who expected to make the team. There's a chance that the Yankees, if they see that he's losing his confidence, there's a chance that the Yankees might make a move opening day. With Isaiah Kanafalafa now being utilized in a utility role, it wouldn't make sense for Peraza to be there and sit on the bench, right? So at AAA, he'll get more reps and constant at-bats. I agree. The Yankees may use him at third base. Let's see what Donaldson does. But the Yankees have World Series or bust expectations. They expect to be very active on the trade market. And, of course, they are heavily linked to Shohei Ohtani. Ohtani's going to be the biggest trade target ever. Due to the Angels are unable to convince, if they can't convince Ohtani to stay with them, then I don't know. It could be a lot of moves today. That's right. Grayson Rodriguez sent to the minors. We already talked about that. King Happ later. King Happ later. Boston Paul. Whoa. What's the question? There you go. Everybody's got the answers, and nobody has the question. How we doing, Laura? Good. This Laura is the only one in the chat room who's got her act together. Everybody else is out of control. Right, Zilmo? Everybody's out of control. Okay, moving right along for a little bit more. And we're not going to do the box scores. I don't know. Maybe we'll do. We won't do. I don't know. What do you think? No box scores? What do you want?
I want you to do the box scores.
What do you want?
I just am enjoying it.
All right, you're enjoying it, so get back into the into your seat. Okay, get back into your seat. All right, so So Ohtani, the Yankees are already dealing with injury trouble in the rotation. They'll need to wait and see about Ohtani. I think that this team is going to be, the Angels, going to be a huge surprise. Cleveland, terrible break. Okay, in addition to Shane Bieber being on the market, Tristan McKenzie, who broke through with a sensational season in 2022, he's been diagnosed with the back of the shoulder injury. He'll be shut down from throwing for 2 weeks. He's expected to be out of the lineup for 8 weeks. Tristan McKenzie, strain in his right, in a muscle and a shoulder, sidelined for 8 weeks overall. He was removed from his last spring start, and I got to tell you, he's 25 years old. He burst onto the scene in 2022 with a 2.96 ERA, 0.95 WHIP, along with a 190 to 44 strikeout to walk ratio. Wow. Here's another trade target. And the great thing about baseball, that none of the other sports really have to the same degree that baseball. And when I was a kid, we used to say, "Oh, the Dodgers are going to get Willie Mays, and the Yankees are going to trade Mickey Mantle." The rumors of trade rumors is what makes baseball more than great. The trade rumors, whether they happen or not, we all love to talk about trades. Minnesota Twins have been shopping all spring. Max Kepler, okay? But none of the moves came to fruition. However, things are expected to change on that front during the regular season. Minnesota's open to moving him, okay? And of course, the Seattle Mariners are just grabbing up everybody they can get. The Mariners are looking to build off their successful 2022. Makes sense that they're interested in Kepler. They could use another outfielder. Kepler has struggled over the last few seasons, so it's clear that he could use a change of scenery. So perhaps the move to the Mariners could get his power back, but that's why I said this show right here, it's all about the Mariners. Now here's the pitcher. All right, here it is now. I'm coming up to the pitcher that I want you to get, and it's coming right up, okay? Well, first of all, let me just say, I know the chat room was loaded yesterday. Everybody's talking about Flaherty. The Cardinals have depth to overcome injuries in the rotation, but not to replace Jack Flaherty. If Jack Flaherty does not come through with a big season, the Cardinals will not do bull dinky. It was everybody's top question surrounding St. Louis for 2023. The Cardinals are entering the season with enough pitching to overcome injuries, with arms like Jake Woodford, Matthew Liberatore, who was also sent down. But there's one name that can't be replaced, and that's Jack Flaherty. Okay, if Flaherty goes, so goes your fantasy team. Okay? Spring training. Flaherty will finish spring training with a 6.4 ERA. It's spring training. 19. Maybe he was just getting himself worked up to start the season. 19 innings of work, struck out 15, walked 7, and allowed a batting average of .329 against them. In his last start of the spring, he went just 3 2/3. 6 earned runs, 4 hits. To me, Jack Flaherty is a major, major problem. Could be a major problem. Jack Flaherty could be a major, major problem. Okay? So. Oh. Andy, it's not charging.
Yes, it is.
Oh, that's why it's
It's charging.
okay. Flaherty is set to pitch in game 2 of this season, so it's not time to give up on him, but still, we'll see. And of course,
I promise it's charging, Leonard. Just
and
don't
of
look
course,
at it anymore.
Dakota Hudson and Matthew Liberatore will start the year in AAA. Now, Hudson, I thought he was going to make the team. He was coming through a 2020 4.4 ERA, career low strikeout. So I'm not surprised that Dakota Hudson was sent down. Okay? They're still talking about vote in the chat room. Still talking about vote. You can't be talking about vote. He signed back with Minnesota. Okay? Nothing to talk about with Luke Vogt anymore. Okay. Where am I? That's what I'd always like to know. It doesn't look like that's... Chris Cambridge says he still thinks Vogt belongs in Tampa. All right, maybe he does. He belongs in Major League Baseball. And I thought for sure, doesn't it make sense that the Phillies would have taken Luke Vogt? Nothing really makes a lot of sense. All right? Nothing makes sense. Moving along. It's really kind of tough. We're just moving right along. Moving right out the window is what we're doing. Obviously, I'm losing my place. So Hudson's demotion was a little bit of surprise. And Derek Gould, who's the Cardinals beat writer, said that Jake Woodford had a 2.04 spring. Watch him. Miles Mikolas earned the opening day start. Should provide stability for the rotation. Jordan Montgomery, Steven Matz, quality arms. So the Cardinals are loaded, but they can't lose their number one. Flaherty is the guy that's got us sorted out, okay? And here's the final tidbit of the day, maybe the most important. Edward Cabrera, who I've been talking about all spring. He was not supposed to make this rotation, but he will in Miami. Luzardo's number 2. Number 3, Edward Cabrera. He could be the best pitcher on this team. He will start Game 3 on Saturday night, home opener against the Mets. He will open the season as the number 3 starter for the Marlins. Cabrera made the team. The Marlins are known for having strong pitching, so the news is simply very good for Cabrera. He should continue to be an all-important piece. He appeared in 14 games last year. That's it. We had a 6-4 record with a 3.0 ERA. Very solid in limited appearances. Very solid. Okay. Jorge Alfaro, by the way, was sent down. He had a stronger track record than Reese McGuire or Connor Wong, but Boston preferred McGuire and Wong as their 2 pitchers. Okay, so you got that. And finally, Wander Franco would be good to go for Tampa on opening day. Now that's the official thing that's coming to fruition. He's officially said it's exciting news. We didn't know what to deal with. Franco appeared in 83 games last year. That was it. It's exciting news for Franco. He's never filled his promise, but he's shown he's a lot of promise. He appeared in 83 games. He had 6 home runs, 33 RBIs, 277 batting average. So Franco. And finally, the Boston Red Sox have cut Bobby Dalbec. After he was seen playing shortstop, we all went freaking crazy. Dalbec has not made the cut, option to AAA. He's being shot by the Red Sox since the beginning of the offseason. He hit a 25 home runs in 2021. Dalbec took a major step in the wrong direction. In 117 games, he had 12 homers, 39 RBIs, and a 215, and then Tristan Casas took his job. So the Phillies, the Phillies could be in line for Dalbec. I would grab Dalbec in a second and hope he winds up somewhere, and he will. And I hope I wind up somewhere as we're still traveling. We're in North Carolina now. Who knows what we got? Big Al, Brooks, Chris from Cambridge. I love you all. You guys are great. DK Lush, Chris Gallo, Grandpa number 2. Eddie Ekman, Kenny Flamion, the king of all haps. He'll be on, I don't even know what today is, but I think he's on today. I'm not sure. King Hap's on every day. Mal Pal, Maine Nick, Laura, Kenny Flamion, Merrill, Mitchell, Rotorius, Scotty Banzit, Timothy My Hooker, White Sox Gal, and Zelmo. Thanks for supporting me, everybody. Dalbec is not on the opening day roster. And we'll talk to you tomorrow, everybody. Thank you. Alfaro was sent down. You got it all. We did a nice job today giving you up to date on stuff, right? Thank you. Tuesday is today. Thank you, Eddie. Tonight with King Hap, and George is going to be on tonight. You know, George. Boom. Thank you, everybody. Listen to King Hap and George. 7:30, 8 o'clock. King Hap and George. 8 o'clock. King Hap and George. Don't miss it. See you later. Thank you all. How do you shut this off? I'm trying to shut it off, or maybe I'll be on all day.
Push the button, the red one.
How do you shut this off?
This one.